Congressman Michael Waltz. He, of course, is a Republican from Florida. He represents Florida's 6th congressional district. Congressman, how will this pick impact the Republican movement, and what does it mean? What are the ramifications for this pick?
Well, thanks, and thanks for having me on. I think it's going to have a tremendous impact. It's a number of these issues look, Republicans have been talking about for years. As you mentioned, the court took a bit of a more liberal turn decades ago, and over the last several years, ideologically, it's shifting back. There's many, including Senator Romney, that argue that America is more of a center-right nation, and I think now we'll have a court that reflects that kind of ideological turn. I do want to say very quickly, though, I think you're absolutely right that we are likely to see a number of suits because of the wide variety of state laws that are involved with vote by mail, from cure periods to when the ballots have to be mailed, when they can be received, how signatures are matched. I think there are several states, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, that are frankly blasting ballots out and do not. Their election supervisors are kind of freaking out. They don't have the infrastructure, the manpower, the databases to manage that volume of mail. Lawsuits will follow, and the makeup of the Supreme Court will be extremely significant if the election is settled in the courts, as it was in 2000 with Bush versus Gore.
And just to reset here, Congressman Michael Waltz joins us. He's a Republican from Florida, and there's breaking news that the president intends to nominate Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. He will formally announce that decision come tomorrow late afternoon. We will have continuing coverage of this throughout the weekend on Bloomberg Radio. Judge Amy Coney Barrett just has been a favorite amongst conservative for quite some time. She, of course, is a legal law professor at Notre Dame University. She is a Catholic. She is someone who the president has eyed for quite some time, and had considered her before naming Justice Kavanaugh. So this is someone who the president has had a deep history with, to some extent, during his first term. What effect do you think it has on down ballot races, and what effect do you think it has on the presidential election, Congressman?
Well, look, I think it's certainly going to affect turnout on both sides, with voters who care about these issues, many of which will be decided by the court. But I think, interestingly, what you're going to see a lot of focus on her religion, on her Catholicism, but I think that reflects the differences in how liberals and conservatives view these justices, right? Where conservatives are very focused on her strict reading of the Constitution, her originalist reading of the Constitution. I think many on the left will be focused on her religious beliefs, because they believe and often promote those whose ideology or broader beliefs then affect their rulings. And I think that in and of itself reflects the differences on just how both sides look at these justices. But I would hope, I just want to put out there, for everyone who focuses on her religion, she was very clear in her last confirmation, where she was confirmed by the Senate, that religious beliefs, personal beliefs, cannot and should not affect a judge's reading of the Constitution. And for everyone who focuses on that, I hope they also note that Joe Biden, the Democrats' presidential candidate, is also, in his words, a proud Catholic. And I really think that, I hope we can leave that out of it and really focus on their interpretation of the Constitution, because that's what conservatives are excited about, that she tends to take a very narrow and focused interpretation.
Peter Baker reports in the New York Times that, quote, as they often do, aides caution that Mr. Trump sometimes upends his own plans, but he is not known to have interviewed any other candidates for the post, end quote. So the headlines are flying around now. The president intends to nominate Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. We're going to have continuing coverage of that all throughout the weekend. And, the Catholicism angle, I'm a Catholic. I mean, I don't hide it. I'm a Catholic. And it's really interesting.
What I tend to throw out there, I'm Episcopalian, which many people call a Catholic light.
Well, right. I don't think there's any right or wrong way to be a Catholic. Lord knows if I know that. I mean, but I thought the Wall Street Journal, they had a front page story on it today of just about how Catholicism is really injected into this race. You've got a Catholic pick for the Supreme Court. Catholics have decided the elections since 2004. However, they have predominantly voted is the way the country has tilted. Biden, the Democratic presidential nominee, Joe Biden, as you just mentioned, Congressman, could be the second ever Catholic president. I mean, so it's interesting how our culture still discusses religion every time these things. These important decisions come up. All right, we're going to talk more about the Supreme Court coming up, but I do want to congratulate Congressman Michael Waltz because you were promoted today to being full colonel in the United States Army. Wow, congratulations, Congressman. And we're grateful that you joined us today because you also, this is when there was the passing of, it's called SB 785, which is a massive win for the veterans community regarding mental health awareness.
Right.
And so can you just take your time to tell us about this particular issue, because mental health is so incredibly important, and especially for our men and women in the military and their families. So just explain.
Yeah, well, thank you. No, thank you for mention of the promotion. I'm a Green Beret, Special Forces officer by background, just past 24 years, but still serving in the National Guard.
Thank you for your service.
There are a number of members of Congress that still serve in their respective state National Guards, and I'm still serving in mine. And just my hat's off to the Guard, from COVID to social unrest to wildfires and natural disasters to overseas deployment. They really have stepped up in an incredible and difficult 2020. This is Suicide Prevention Month. We are still losing over 20 veterans per day to suicide, despite literally billions being thrown at it. What I like about this bill, it passed unanimously in the Senate, which is very rare these days, as you know. We just got it through the House to the president's desk, and it pushes dollars down to the community level. We all know of a number of great veteran service organizations that are right there kind of, in the community with the veterans, have a granular understanding of their needs. And, I'd rather see monies passing down to their level rather than through a complicated bureaucracy. I mean, the VA is doing the best it can, but I think we need a balance of both, and that's what this bill will do. In addition to putting some suicide specialists in our VA clinics, because we just absolutely we cannot sustain our all-volunteer military, which right now is all over the world as we speak, keeping us safe with that type of casualty and loss due to mental health. And this bill goes after it in a different way. Which is one of the reasons I was a big advocate for it.
And Congressman, just before I let you go, just on that particular point, I mean, can you just put in perspective for our audience just how much of an impact the COVID-19 pandemic has had on the mental health of our veterans, of their families, and just it's devastating.
Yeah, well, it is, and isolation has always been a big problem with mental health issues, and obviously the COVID with the various lockdowns and shutdowns has just kind of put that on steroids, and truly has our men and women that have done so much for us overseas isolated even more. So my message to all of our veterans out there. And to everyone out there, in combat, we always check on our brothers and sisters to our left and our right before we go on a mission. Well, that mission isn't done when we come back home. Reach out, take a moment, check on someone. Even if you haven't talked to your battle buddy in quite some time, check on them now. You never know, and you would hate to get some horrible news later. I just talked one of my special operators, Green Berets, kind of off the ledge just a few weeks ago, and got him the help that he needed. And thank God that we just happened to be in touch. But everybody, the government can't solve everything, and certainly I don't think can completely solve this problem. It's going to take us as a community to help each other, and then to continue to encourage each other to serve. serve your community, serve your country, serve your neighbor, coach, teach, mentor. You don't have to keep wearing a uniform to continue to serve. And I think, we can grow from our traumatic experiences. We like to call it, and an organization that I'm working with, Mission Roll Call, likes to call it post-traumatic growth, because sometimes what doesn't kill you can make you stronger, and you can learn and grow from it rather than be traumatized for it. So part of it is thinking and talking about it differently as well.
I want to thank you for your service. It's Congressman Michael Waltz. He's a Republican from Florida's 6th Congressional District. He is a veteran of the war in Afghanistan and, of course, has served in various different posts all throughout his career. And on Wednesday, he, of course, saw the unanimous passage. It's so incredibly rare, but dare I say, it gives me optimism and hope. The unanimous passage of the Commander John Scott Hannon Veterans Mental Health Care Improvement Act, which is a bill designed to improve the veterans' access to mental health care and to prevent veteran suicide. Just as a reminder, folks, September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Congressman, thank you, sir, for your service and for your time.
Hey, thank you so much. And, the enemy's bullets don't know political party, and when it comes to supporting our veterans and military, we shouldn't either. And I'm thrilled that we came together on this one.
Awesome. Good stuff. All right, let's reset here. My name is Kevin Cirilli. I'm the Chief Washington Correspondent for Bloomberg Television and for Bloomberg Radio. I want to welcome folks just tuning in because there are some red headlines flying across the Bloomberg terminal. President Trump has selected